Good afternoon. I welcome you all to the session 12 of Atal FTP on robot operating system. Today afternoon we have a special session on yoga by Dr. Vigneshwar Bhatt. So I will give a brief intro about Dr. Vigneshwar Bhatt sir. He is a founder's trustee of Samhita Trust as well as he is a project coordinator back in the ring Norway with India. He has also published several international papers on national and international conference. He has published papers, and he has also written several books in national and international forums, as well as he has been invited as a resource person across the globe to address about yoga, cultural studies, etc. And he has got multiple funded projects from various government and reputed organizations as well. So we are very proud to have you, sir, with us today. So I request Dr. Vigneshwar sir to start the session. Over to you, sir.
Namaste all. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Thank you for introduction. Thank you for inviting me to this wonderful session. So before starting the session, let me start with the invocation. Om Yasmajjatam Jagat Sarvam Yasminneva Praliyate Yenedam Dharyate Chaiva Tasmai Jnanatmane Namaha. Om Jnanatmane Namaha. Vande Gurunam Charanarvinde Sandarshita Swatma Sukhava Bodhe निःश्रेयसे जाङ्गलिकायमाने संसारहालाहलमोहशान्त्यै श्रीगुरवे नमः. Namaste all. Today we are going to have the session on the yoga is a tool to rejuvenate human system. So before starting the session, I need to give the brief introduction to the yogic culture and how it started and how it helps on the human mind and how it refines human system. So let me give the small introduction. Let me share the presentation so that it will be easy to follow, because I think this will be the new subject for all the people, maybe because this totally different from the technical subjects. Let me share the screen. I hope you are able to see my screen. Is it visible? Anybody? Is it visible?
Yes, it is visible, sir.
Okay. So the today's session is yoga is a tool to rejuvenate human system. So first of all, we need to know about the three things here. What is yoga and how it started? What are the different aspects we are having? And the second point is how it is considered as a tool. So how it helps us to rejuvenate, and what are the aspects, how it helps to rejuvenate the mind, how it helps to rejuvenate the body and breath. We need to know all these concepts. First, let me explain about the yoga and yogic tradition. All of you might heard about the Indian tradition. It has the vast the lineage, and it has lot of the beautiful practices and all. So yogic and Vedic tradition, I need to introduce these are the two things, yogic and Vedic tradition. The first half of the session I will be explaining about the theory part of the Veda, maybe just 15 minutes time I will take to explain about the theory part of the yoga. Then after 45 minutes, I will be explaining about the how it is practical, what are the aspects we are having. So all those aspects I will be explaining. So let me start from the Vedic tradition. So you might heard about that for all Indian culture and practices rooted in the Vedic culture. So Veda means what? Veda means knowledge. In Sanskrit, there is the root called with jnani. So with jnani means what? The wisdom, knowledge. So knowledge tradition is called as Veda. So if you ask what is there in the Veda, so Veda is talking about the religious aspect, or Veda is talking about what exactly there in the Vedas. So most of the people, they think it talks about the rituals, it talks about the only the worship, it talks about the religious practices. That's how people think most of the time. But Veda is the manual for the human life. All of we need to know that Veda is manual for the human life. If I give the small example, when you purchase the mobile phone, you'll be able to get the manual along with the mobile phone, which talks about the user guidance, how you can use the mobile phone. It talks about the usage of mobile phone. So we say that human life is holy life, and if we get the human life, maybe we have fortune. That's how we feel. But what is the manual for the human life? How to utilize our life? How we can make our life purposeful? That is the question. So we don't have any manual to make our life better and useful. Most of the time, we have the manual for all the technical tools. If you take the computer, there is the manual. If you take the mobile phone, there is the manual. If you take anything, there is the manuals. But for the human life, there is no manual. That's why we can say that Veda is manual for the human life. So what are the concepts are there in the Vedas? So it talks about the secret behind human life, how we get human body, and what are the karmic force, means our fate, and how we'll be getting the different kind of feelings on this planet when we are having the body. It explains about the body, it explains about the all human systems, and even it talks about the karmic theory. The karma means what? The karma means the previous deeds. So the Vedas talks about all these concepts. Along with that, there are a lot of scientific concepts also there in the Vedas. If you look at the entire Veda, it never talks about any religion. Of course, it is belongs to one religion, but in the Veda, if you study the Veda, you'll be not able to find any name or the clue which talks about the religion, that you'll be not able to find. But later texts are talking about the different religions and different concepts and all. So yoga also originated from the Vedic culture. In the Vedas, you can see the two parts. I don't explain about all this terminologies. It takes a lot of time maybe. So in the Veda, there are two parts called Karma Kanda and Jnana Kanda. So what you mean by Karma Kanda? What you mean by Jnana Kanda? So Karma Kanda means which talks about the actions, the practical aspects. Jnana Kanda means which talks about the theory. So if we want to get success in our field, we have to have the theoretical knowledge as well as practical knowledge. If I give you the small example, I don't know how to cook, but I will cook. So later I will be not able to that food, because that food will not be eatable, because I don't know how to cook. I don't know the theory. Without knowing the theory, if I cook, I will be not able to eat. So in the another aspect, I know how to cook, but I don't cook. I'm very lazy. Just imagine. I have the theoretical knowledge, but I don't implement that knowledge. Then I will be not able to get the success. At the same time, I don't have the knowledge, but I practice. So I will be not able to get the success in that angle also. So here Karma Kanda talks about the practical aspects. Jnana Kanda talks about uh, the theoretical concepts. So generally, these are the 2 points we have to understand, because theory and practical is very important. If you look at the Upanishad, it says that Hatam Jnanam Kriyahinam Ajnaninam Kriyatatha. So without knowing, if we do something, that action will not give the result. And we know, but we are not doing anything, there also will be not able to get any success. That's why knowledge as well as practice should go both together. So that's why there are 2 parts in the Vedas. One is Karma Kanda, another one is Jnana Kanda. So after the Vedic tradition, because Veda is very vast, and Veda is considered as the very difficult text. So thinking that our sages, they have written different texts like Smritis and Sutras and Puranas, Tantras and Itihasa. So we can see the different traditions here. Smritis means the sages, they have studied the Vedas and they have implemented Vedic concepts in their life. So later they wrote their experience in the name of the text that is called as Smriti. So they have written the text, their experience, we can say that is kind of the thesis. So they have written their experience in the book, that is called as Smritis. And there are a lot of concepts in the Smritis. The Smritis are considered as the scientific books, because they are all giving the scientific evidence. So in the Vedas, you'll be not able to get maybe the evidences and all, but in the Smritis, you'll get a lot of evidence, and easily you can understand and you can do the lot of investigation. And sutras also like that. Sutras are aphorisms, formulas. By using the Vedic techniques, they have written different types of sutras. When it comes to the yoga, so yoga started compiled by the Patanjali Maharshi. So he writes the Yoga Sutra. The entire yogic concepts he writes in the text, which is called as Patanjali Yoga Sutra, which contains 195 sutras, means aphorisms. So later there are Puranas, Tantras, Itihasas. I don't explain about all these things. When it comes to the yoga, yoga comes under the Smritis and Sutras. So in the Vedas, in the Upanishads, yoga has been explained. Later, yoga is written in the different texts, like Yoga Sutras and Hatha Yoga Pradipika. Different texts are there for the yoga. This is all about the yogic tradition. Let us try to understand what is yoga. So Patanjali says, Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. It means yoga is kind of the action which controls our mind. Our mind has a lot of fluctuation which controls our mind. That is called as yoga. Actually, nowadays, whenever we say yoga, yoga means we think just asana practice, exercise is considered as a yoga. That's how we feel sometimes. No, yoga is not restricted to the only asanas. Later, I will explain how we can practice yoga even without practicing the asanas also. That I will explain later. Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. It means Chitta means our mind. So which controls action, which controls our mind, that is called as yoga. For example, somebody will able to get the concentration by singing a song. So then that is called as yoga for them. Some people, they will able to get the concentration by working, by doing the selfless service. Then that is called as yoga. Some people will able to get the concentration, or they are able to avoid the mental fluctuation by reading some book. Then for them, that is called as yoga. Patanjali clearly mentions that yoga is a tool which will help us to control our mental modification. So that is called as yoga. And yoga has different aspects. Samatvam yoga uchyate. So this is the another definition for the yoga. So human mind, almost all the time we have the imbalance. So mind will be having lot of fluctuations. When we are very happy, mind will be flying. Whenever we are having lot of problems, sadness, then mind will be getting distraction and mind will be depressed. So the action which brings equilibrium, action which brings equanimity in the mind, so that is called as yoga. So samatvam yoga uchyate. Next, yoga karmasu kaushalam. Yoga is a tool which creates kind of the skill in the human mind. That is called as yoga. So action which creates skill, that is also called as yoga. So there are three main definitions. The first one is yoga chitta vritti nirodha. It means which controls human mind and which avoids fluctuation, that is called as yoga, and which brings the equanimity, equilibrium in the body, in the breath, in the mind, that is called as yoga. And yoga karmasu kaushalam, which increases our skill or which helps us to develop our skill, so that is called as yoga. So when we are having these are the three things, we don't have any problem in our life. So if we have the concentration in our mind, if we are having the balance in our life, and if we are having the skill in our action, then we don't have any problem. We'll be able to get the success in our life. If you look at the different texts, they say that when we have the fluctuation in our mind, we'll be not able to have the balance in our life. Whenever there is no balance in our life, we'll be not having the skill in our action. Whenever there is no skill in our action, we'll be not able to get the success in our life. When there is no success, then there will be no happiness in the life. That's why we need to start from the first. So first we need to control our mind, and we have to bring the balance in our life, and we have to bring the skill in our action. Then we'll be able to get the success and the joy in our life. Let me give the small example. Whenever our mind is concentrated, we'll be able to do a lot of things. We'll be able to achieve a lot of things. But if our mind is not concentrated, we'll be not able to do anything. If I give the small example, just imagine you want to cut a tree, or you have the big timber in front of you, you want to cut the timber. So for that, you need the sharp weapon. So just imagine your weapon is not sharp. Then entire day you have to waste your time to cut the timber. Otherwise, just imagine half an hour you are investing your time to make your weapon sharper. Then you are trying to cut the timber. Then within half an hour or within an hour, will be able to complete your action. In the same way, we work very hard most of the time, but our mind will be having lot of depression. Mind will be having lot of distraction. Mind will be having lot of fluctuation. With the fluctuation, with the depression, if we are working, then we'll be not able to complete our action. Even though if we complete our action, the action will not have the kind of the value, or the action will not be having the weightage. So if you are doing your action with the concentrated mind, so mind which is not having lot of fluctuation, so if mind which is balanced, with this mind, if you are doing the action, then you will be able to be successful. That's why the yoga is considered as a kind of the tool to control our mind. So now let us try to understand on how yoga will help us to control our mind, how yoga will help us to control our breath and the body. All of us, we know that the body, breath and mind, they are having the dynamic relationship. If something is happening to the body, that will be affecting on the breath, and that will be affecting on the mind. Or if something is happening to the mind, that will be affecting on the breath, then that will be affecting on the body. Let me give the small example. Just imagine you are walking in the forest. So in the evening, you are walking in the forest, and suddenly tiger comes in front of you. So then what happens? You will be getting the fear. The fear is the nature of the mind. Fear is the nature of the mind. So after getting the fear, immediately what happens? Your breath will be fluctuated. You will be breathing very fast. Your breath will be fluctuated. After that, what happens? So your body will be shivering. So the fear, you got the fear on your in your mind, and that is affecting on your breath and the body. Because body, breath, and mind, they are having the dynamic relationship. If something is happening to the body, that will be affecting on the breath and mind. If something is happening to the breath, then that will be affecting on the body and mind. And if something is affecting on the mind, then that will be affecting on the breath and body. So they have the dynamic relationship. If you want to understand this concept, let me give the small example. Just look at the image on the screen. So there is the glass of water on the table. So here you need to consider table as a body, and the glass is as a breath, and the water which is there in the glass, that is as a mind. So there are three things: the table, and the glass, and the water. These are the three things are there. So you just consider body as a the table as a body, and glass as a breath, and water as a mind. So just imagine, just you shake the table, then what happens? So the glass will be shaking. When the glass is shaking, what happens? The water will be getting the waves. The water will get the fluctuation. So if you are trying to see your face in the water, so water will be having lot of waves. That's why you are not able to get the proper reflection. There will be lot of waves. That's why your face looks like a demon face maybe. So just imagine the table is steady and the glass also steady. There is no waves in the water. When you look at your face, it looks as it is. There will be no fluctuations. So that's why the table, glass, and the water, so they are having the connection. If something is happening to the table, that will be affecting on the glass, and then to the water. So then if you want to see anything in the water, you'll be not able to see. Even though if you are able to see something, that will be having the different image. You will be not able to see the real reflection. So why I'm giving this example? So if some problem is there with the body, that will be affecting on the breath. When the breath also having the fluctuation, that will be affecting on the mind. When the mind has lot of problem, even though you have everything is fine around you, but you will be having lot of difficulties. It means, yeah, as when the water has lot of fluctuation, as you get the disturbed image, in the same way, when your mind is fluctuated, you will be getting the disturbed feeling. So disturbed feeling will create lot of problem. So the yoga will help us to control the body, breath, and mind. Yoga brings the steadiness in the body, and steadiness in the breath, and steadiness in the mind. So just imagine, whenever your mobile phone battery gets dried. So when the battery is dying, then what do? You will be recharging the battery. For that, you will be using the charger. In the same way, when the body is getting low energy, when the breath is getting low energy, when the mind is getting depressed, so we need to recharge. Yoga is kind of the charger through which you will be able to recharge your body, breath, and mind. So most of the time, people will be getting a lot of the physical issues and the mental issues, or the issue which is related to the breath, because there is low energy. So we need to increase our energy by using the different techniques. So yoga will give the different technique to rejuvenate the body, breath, and mind. So when your body, breath, and mind having the strength, naturally you will be having the self-control. So when you have the self-control, then you will be able to get the concentration. When you have the concentration, you'll be able to get the skill as well as success in your action. So that's why, first of all, we need to concentrate on the body, breath, and mind. So let us try to understand what are the tools we are having to control body, breath, and mind. So there is the asana. Asana means physical exercises, what we do. It might be the Surya Namaskara, or it can be the um, any asanas, different types of asana, Paschimottanasana. There are different types of asanas we are having. So the asanas will help us to control our body. It recharges our body. While practicing asanas, there will be difficulty. But when we practice the asana, naturally what happens, body will be getting lot of strength. So that's why Patanjali says that how asana will help us. Sthira Sukham Asanam. So which gives the steadiness in our body, that is called as asana. Not only steadiness, even comfortability, which gives steadiness as well as comfortability in our body, that is called as asana. We are practicing different types of yogasanas to get the steadiness as well as comfortability in our body. The human nature is that where we have the comfortability, there we don't have the steadiness. Where we have the steadiness, there we don't have the comfortability. That is our problem. Just imagine you are sitting on the chair for 1 hour. So within an hour, how many times you will be changing your posture? You look at your own students in the class. So they will be sitting on the chair and their hand will be on the desk. So you observe the students within 1 hour class, minimum 100 times they will be changing their posture. Sometimes they slouch their body, then sometimes they will be erect, they will be changing their sitting posture, they will be slouching their body, they change their position. Always there will be a lot of fluctuation in the body. Why we do this? Not only students, even we do that. So just imagine your hand is there on the armchair. So after 2 minutes, you want to change your arms and you want to turn here and there. So body wants to be asthira. Asthira means body wants to be comfortable by changing the posture. So if you change 100 times, if you change your posture for 100 times, still there will be the uncomfortability. We are practicing asana to bring the comfortability as well as steadiness both together. For example, you are sitting for 1 hour, so you are comfortable as well as you are steady. So where there is the steadiness, there will be no comfortability most of the time. By practicing the asana, we will be able to get the steadiness as well as comfortability together. So Ayurveda says that a person who is not able to sit steady for 10 to 15 minutes, if the person has the problem to sit for 10 to 15 minutes, being very erect without changing the posture, you have to be like idle. You have to be like a stone for 10 to 15 minutes. If you are not able to sit like that, then you will be having a lot of fluctuation in our body. That's how even Ayurveda says. To get the steadiness in our body, we need to practice the asana. By practicing the asana, we will be able to have the steadiness as well as comfortability in our body. And one more thing I have to explain here. So asanas will help us to avoid the pain. So most of the people, we are experiencing the back pain because always we sit on the chair. When we come to the office, we are sitting on the chair. And when we go back to the house, we watch the TV. Again, we are sitting on the chair. When we are having the food, we have the dining table. Then again, we'll sit on the chair. And the body will be not getting the proper exercise. Because of that, we are developing the back pain most of the time. And I will give you the small example how we are developing the pain. Just imagine when you snap your fingers. So if you snap your finger, there will be the sound. When you snap your finger, there will be the sound. You can try that itself. So whenever you, I hope you are able to see my PPT as well as my face. You're able to see my face also, because sometime I will be showing my actions. Anybody? You're able to see only the PPT or face, both? Can you hear me? Anybody?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So you're able to see screen as well as my face, both, isn't it?
Yeah, both, sir, both.
Okay. Now still my screen is visible. Okay, I hope my screen is visible. So when you snap your fingers, what happens? You'll be able to get you'll be able to the there will be the sound. So why this sound comes? Once if you snap your finger again, maybe within 1 minute or 2 minutes, if you snap your finger again, you'll be not able to get that sound. What's the reason? So in our joints, the water means our breath or the air will be getting locked. So when you snap, that will be released, so that sound will come. In the same way, in all our joints will be having this vata prakriti, or this the air will be blocked in our entire joints. So in some part of the body gets the exercise all the time, but most of the joints will be not getting the exercises. So what happens? Because of that, all the air, if the air is there for a long time, if it is not released, that will create the pain. Just imagine your finger, you are not folding for 1 day, so you'll get the lot of uncomfortability. You'll be not having the comfortability in your fingers. So when you snap your fingers, you'll be able to feel very relaxed. So in the same way, whenever you are practicing the asana, all the joints will be getting the relaxation. You'll be able to take out the air which is locked in your joints. For that, because of that, you will be able to get the steadiness as well as the comfortability in the body. And next one is pranayama. So Patanjali says that Shwasa Prashwasayor Gativicheda Pranayama. So the controlling our breath is called as pranayama. So how we are controlling our breath? By doing the pranayama. As we do the breath control, as we do the pranayama, naturally the mind also will be getting the concentration. As I gave the example in the previous slide, so in the glass there is the water. If the glass is not moving, the water will not get the fluctuation. When the breath has the strength, naturally the mind also will be having the concentration. So that's why the first we practice asana, then the pranayama, then the dhyana. Dhyana is meditation. So later I will explain more about these other techniques. Let us try to understand what is body, what is breath, and what is mind according to the yoga. So yoga says that shiryate anena iti shariram. So body means that which is the place where we are able to experience the different types of feelings, and which is day by day, which will be which will be getting kind of the distraction, or the which will be becoming old. Shiryate means which loses the things. So as we grow old, slowly what happens? We'll be losing the power of senses, and we'll be losing the strength of body. So which loses the things. So that is called as body. It's called as shariram. Shiryate iti shariram. Even we say dehaha. Deha means what? Dahyate iti dehaha, which can be burnt. That is called as deha. So in the yoga system, the body is the last. The first they talk about the mind, then they talk about the breath, and then they talk about the body. If you are having the strong mind, then you will be not having any problem with the breath and body. If you are having strong body, still you can have the problem with the breath and mind. But if you are having the strong mind, then you will be not having the problem with the body and breath. So the body is kind of the shelter, or body is considered as a kind of just the shelter for the humans. It means just the shell. So if you look at the Bhagavad Gita, they say that body is just like a shell. it will be getting a lot of problems, and we'll be losing this, and this is kind of the place where we can experience the pain and pleasure. So even yoga text also says that even though if you practice the asana or the any kind of practices, you will be not able to make your body you will be not able to keep your body for the 500 years. It's not possible. So it has the limitation, and it has the boundary. So body means or the sharira means which has the limitation and which has the kind of the boundary, and finally which is having which will be losing the things, that is called as body. That's how yoga says. And next we are trying to understand, we are trying to learn about the breath. So we know that we are breathing, and we are while breathing we are inhaling with the oxygen and we are exhaling carbon dioxide. So this we know. But when it comes to the yogic anatomy, it says that when we are taking the oxygen inside, this oxygen will be divided into the five there will be the five different variations. So the breath will be divided into the five categories. So these are the five breaths will be doing the different types of action. So prana, apana, udana, samana. These are the five breaths we are having in our body. So udana means the breath which is there in our the kantha. Kantha means in the throat area. And hridi pranaha, in the chest area, what we have, that is called as prana. Samanaha nabhistitaha. So in the navel area, what we have, that is called as samana. Gude apanaha, the breath which moves downward, that is called as apana. Vyana sarva shariragaha, the breath which is there in entire body, that is called as vyana. So if you look at the yogic anatomy, even it talks about the different types of breath, like a naga, kurma, devadatta, dhananjaya. These are the different types of breath. So naga, while sneezing, while yawning, when the tears comes out of our eyes, there also breath. There is the force which created by the breath. There are different types of breaths are working behind. These are the actions. Those are the breaths are called as upapranas, called naga, kurma, devadatta, dhananjaya, all these things. While sneezing, just breath is not coming. There are other things along with the breath, as we know. And while yawning also. So there are different types of breaths are coming from the different part of the body. Depending upon that, we have the different names for them. And when it comes to the mind, we need to understand about the mind. The scripture says that if you want to, mind is not tangible, but we can experience the mind, we can feel the mind, but it is not tangible. We will be not able to see the mind. But here, if you want to understand the mind, the scripture says that just you can look at the monkey. The mind works like a monkey. Mind acts like a monkey. Most of the time, mind will be acting like a monkey. Markatasya surapanam madhye vrishchikadamshanam tanmadhye bhuta sancharaha yadva tadva bhavishyati. So just imagine, the scripture says that if you want to look at the mind, just you look at the monkey. Mind will act like a monkey, not like a normal monkey. Surapanam. So monkey which has the alcohol. So monkey itself, it is the best example for the fluctuation. But mind is not normal monkey. The monkey which has the alcohol. And not only that, madhye vrishchikadamshanam, it is bitten by the scorpion. So the mind is monkey, the alcoholic monkey, the same monkey is bitten by the scorpion. And not only that, tanmadhye bhuta sancharaha, in the same monkey, the ghost also entered. So how that monkey will be acting? In the same way, our mind will act. So that's why mind is considered as a like a wind. If you look at the Bhagavad Gita 6th chapter, the Arjuna says that chanchalam hi manah krishna pramathi balavadridam. The mind is very much fluctuated. So I know all the scriptures, I know all the theories, I do lot of practices, still controlling mind is not easy. That's how Arjuna says in the Bhagavad Gita. In the same way, the mind is very fluctuated all the time. It creates kind of the problems, or uh, mind wants to be fluctuated. Then only maybe the mind will be having the kind of the relaxation most of the time. If I give the another example, mind is just like the water. So what is the nature of the water? The water always moves downward. If you pour the water will be moving downward. In the same way, our mind also, the most of the time mind will be catching the negative things. Just imagine you have a big sheet, the white sheet you have, and the white sheet has a very small black spot. So first mind will be catching the black spot. So this entire white sheet is not good because it has the black spot. So one small black spot will be noticed very soon. That's the nature of the mind. So always mind will be catching the negative points. So because of that, the mind will get lot of fluctuation. Because of catching the negative points, mind will become negative very soon. And that's why the scripture says that the mind is just like a water, always moves downward. And by practicing the meditation, by practicing the yoga, we need to make our mind like a fire. What is the nature of the fire? Just light the candle and you make down, upside down. Then what happens? The flame will be moving up. In the same way, by practicing the different types of practices, we need to make our mind as a fire. So if I give the small explanation about the mind, how mind works, all of you are from the science background, especially computer science background. So that's why if I give the example from the computer, you'll be able to understand very easily. So just imagine if you take the computer, there are a lot of different parts in the computer. So there is the monitor, there is the processor, there is the hard disk, and there is the internal circuits. There are a lot of things in the computer. So if you take the example of the human system, mind is the monitor of the human system. We can say the mind is the monitor of the human system. On the computer screen, you will be able to see everything, but you will be not able to get anything. For example, if I Google apple, the apple picture will come on the screen, but I can't eat the apple there itself. So the things can be seen in the monitor, but I cannot use those things what is there on the monitor. For example, if I say banana, the banana picture came in your mind, but you are not able to eat the banana. So this is just like the monitor of the human system. And there are three things along with the mind called chitta, buddhi, and ahankara. Ahankara means ego, buddhi means intellect, and chitta means memory storage. Whatever we know, everything will be stored in the chitta, which is called as memory storage. And the processor is the intellect here. What should go on the monitor? So that will be decided by the processor, that will be decided by the intellect here. And the ahankara, ego, works as a internal circuits. Ego means, in the philosophical term, ego is not a bad thing, which help us to identify ourselves. That is called as ego in the philosophy. So for example, I say my name is Vigneshwar. So this word, the name is relating to this body. So by using what word I am relating to my body or to my mind, that is called ego, which relates. That is called as ego in philosophical term. That is called as ahankara. So here the ego works like an internal circuit, and buddhi works like a processor, and chitta, which is called as memory storage, everything will be stored in the chitta. So then the mind is the monitor of human system. Just imagine everything is fine. Your processor is fine, internal circuits are fine, and you have a lot of storage in your memory storage, and processor is working nice, but monitor is broken. So whatever there in your system, you will be not able to see. So even though if you see sometime it will be blurred and it will be not visible properly, that's why you will be not able to get the real understanding, or you are not able to experience the real thing on the monitor. In the same way, when we have the problem with the mind, if our entire system is good, we will be not able to experience uh, we will be not able to experience the comfortability. So when mind has lot of problem, even though you have everything, but still you will be struggling a lot. The nature of mind is that always mind wants to go back or mind wants to run forward. We are not able to keep the mind in the present. That's the problem. What happened in future, what happens in what happened in the past, that always mind wants to know. But on present, keeping mind is quite difficult. That's why yoga gives different techniques. So what are the simple techniques we can we can implement in our life to have the to rejuvenate the mind, body, and breath? So now just I have explained about the body, breath, and mind. Now let us try to understand about the practical concepts. So how we'll be able to make our mind stronger, breath stronger, and body stronger? How we can recharge and how we can rejuvenate? Let us try to understand. In the Bhagavad Gita 6th chapter, Krishna talks about these are the practices. Yukta hara viharasya yukta chestasya karmaso yukta swapnavabodhasya yogo bhavati dukkha. Yoga will destroy all our sufferings. So yoga will destroy all our sufferings. So when it destroys all our sufferings, when our ahara, the food is proper, yukta karma, when our action is proper, and when we have the proper environment, proper surroundings, and when we have the proper sleep, then we don't need any yoga practice. Actually, having proper food is yoga. Having proper action is called yoga. Having proper surroundings called as yoga. Having proper sleep is called as yoga. So most of the time we think yoga is just which we practice on the yoga mat. So nowadays it became just the trend. All the people, they think that yoga means doing Surya Namaskara. So that is yoga. Not only that, you do lot of Surya Namaskara, you do lot of practices that is just concentrated on the body, and we have other things to do. So we need to control the breath, we need to control the mind, all other things we need to do. So our food system is not good, our action is not good, our surrounding is not good, our sleep, we don't have the proper sleep, then whatever practice you do, that will not help. So that's why these are the things are considered as a simple yoga. Yukta hara, yukta karma, yukta vihara, yukta swapna. Today let us try to understand these are the four things properly. Then we will be able to understand what is exactly yoga and how it rejuvenates our body, breath, and mind. We'll be able to understand. So let us try to understand what is yukta ahara. All of us, we know ahara means food. So ahara means food. Ahriyate iti ahara. Whatever we consume, that is called as food. Actually in Sanskrit, ahara means whatever you intake, everything is called as ahara. You listen sound, that is called as ahara for your ear, and you consume food, that is ahara called mouth for mouth. You see something, that is food for your eyes. So ahara means through 5 senses, whatever you take inside, all those things are considered as ahara. But today let us try to focus on the food. So nowadays we don't have the proper time to have the food. And yukta ahara means having the proper food in the proper place with the proper mentality. That is called as yukta ahara. Nowadays, how we are having the food? Most of the time we'll be having the television in front of us, and the food plate will be on our hand, or it will be kept on the dining table, and we'll be speaking to people. We laugh, we cry, and we speak in phone, and we have the food. So this will create a lot of negative impact on the mind. This will be considered as a ritual. Having food is considered as a ritual. In the Vedas, it is told annam brahmeti vyajanat. So food is considered as a Brahman, food is considered as a God. So for the God, there is the beautiful explanation in the Vedas. It says that without which you are not able to survive, that is called as God. God means not Ganesha, or God means not Shiva. Not only that, if you look at the philosophy, it says without which you are not able to survive, that is called as God. Without water, we are not able to survive. That's why we respect the water and we consider water as a goddess Ganga. And without the sun, we are not able to survive. That's why we say Surya Deva. Without wind, we are not able to survive. That's why we are considering wind as a Vayu Deva. Without food, we are not able to survive on this planet. That's why food is considered as a Brahman. So we need to consider food as a Brahman, and we have to worship and we have to consume the food. Even if you look at the Buddhism, without meditating with the food, they don't consume. Their system is not letting them to consume the food without meditating. In the same way, in each and every system, we'll be able to see the kind of the guidance to respect the food, because food is considered as a Brahman. So how we need to have how we need to consume the food. At least nowadays we are working outside and we are having lot of difficulty, but still, so within the facility, whatever facility we are having, within that we have to have the proper food. So proper food, yuktahara, means what? Proper time. So one day having the breakfast 8 o'clock, another day having the breakfast 9 o'clock, other day having the breakfast 10 o'clock, it's not good. So we have to have the proper time for the breakfast. We have to have the proper time for the lunch. We have to have the proper time for the dinner. And in between, having the different type of food is not good. And first of all, we need to focus on the timings. Having the breakfast morning, and after 9 o'clock one coffee, 10 o'clock one chocolate, 12 o'clock one biscuit, this will be not help. It will create lot of problems. That's why we have to have the proper system to have the food. So morning you are having the breakfast, body will not expect for all these things. We are creating all this kind of needs. So body is not expecting for the snacks and other things or the junk food in between, but to satisfy our tongue, we are eating all other things. So yukta means the proper time. Have the proper breakfast and the lunch and the dinner properly. So these are the three things are we enough. And what kind of food we need to eat? Always we have to try to eat the fresh food. That is very important. If you look at the Ayurveda, it says that food which is prepared, you have to finish, that is within 3 hours. After 3 hours, food will be starting to perish. Whatever food we will keep in the fridge or wherever, so the food taste will change. All of us, we know that, but still we don't have any other option. Maybe that's why we are eating packed food, we are eating chemicalized food. So that will create lot of problem. That's why we have to start practicing yukta ahara. That's very important. So Ayurveda says aharam bunjate yadrisham buddhir bhavati tadrishi. It means what kind of food you are eating, depending upon that your mind grows. So in the previous time, all the sages, they are able to remember the entire philosophy or entire Vedas, all other things they are able to remember. Nowadays, we are not able to remember too many things. Everything is stored in the computer, everything is stored in the mobile phone, nothing is there in the mind. So why it's happening? Because of our unorganized daily routine. So the food should be consumed in the proper method. So sitting in the calm place without having any gadgets, and after praying, we need to have the food as a prayer. So while doing the prayer, how we pray, in the same way we have to have the food. That's very important. When it comes to the food, you can have whatever food you want to eat, except junk foods. I don't talk about the non-veg, I don't talk about the vegetarian food, because these are all in the different countries or different places, they have the different nature of the food. We don't have any problem with that, but the eating system should be proper. And you should not have the grief in your mind, you should not have the fluctuation in your mind, you should not laughing and screaming, shouting while having food. That will not help. It creates a lot of problem in the human body. So that's why we have to have the proper place for the food, proper time for the food, and proper system for the food. That's very important. And after that, yukta karma. So after the ahara, you have to have the proper action. So human life is kind of the gift, and we need to do the lot of action to be comfortable in our life. Along with that, always we have to have some habit to help the other people also every day. So 10 to 15 minutes maybe we are doing the selfless service. That is also very important. So karma, the action which uplift us as well as which support the society, which helps others. So that kind of action always we need to do. So only not for the our benefit, even to help the other people, if we do the action, that is called as karma yoga, selfless service, helping the people and helping the society, helping the community, helping the country, and not thinking too much selfish, I mean about ourselves. So that is called karma, yukta karma. So that we need to practice. And yukta vihara, so always we have to have the good discussion, or we have to have the company of the good people. So most of the time we can see when two people are talking, they will be talking about the third person. So there will be the matter that that person did this person did that. We will be talking negative most of the time, maybe it happens. So there are four colleagues, on that day only three colleagues are gathered. Maybe they will be talking about the fourth one. So that person did this person is did that. So we'll be discussing about the other people where we don't get any benefits. If you look at the Greek philosophers story, so you might know that there was the great philosophers called Socrates and Plato. So this is the just story, I don't know whether it happened or not. The Socrates is the student of Plato, and he was having the philosophical school, and Plato was the very good student, and he was learning very fast, and he was very dedicated. That's why Socrates was loving him, and he was supporting all the time, even though the Socrates was teaching other people, but other people were not much cooperative. So then what happened, the Socrates was liking Plato all the time. Because of that, other students were jealous. So they thought that let us break these people relationship. So Socrates and Plato always they are together, they do the philosophical discussion. Because of that, these students are jealous. That's why they want to create the problem between them. So they were waiting for the opportunity. One day what happened, the Socrates supposed to go to the philosophical debate for the other country. During that time, Socrates gave all the in charge to the Plato. Plato has to take care of the his philosophical school. The Socrates has wife, and she is very much younger than Socrates. There was the too much age difference between them, and she was very handsome, beautiful. So when the Socrates went to the other country, the Socrates other students, they thought that let us create the problem, let us create the misunderstanding between Plato and Socrates this time. For that, they did one idea. They told they planned that when the Socrates comes back to the philosophy school, they will tell that Plato and Socrates' wife, they are having the relationship. They want to talk about that to the Socrates, so that Socrates will be disturbed and Plato will be fired out. So that's how they thought. So Socrates went out, and he completed his all the work, and he came back to the philosophical school. During that time, one of the crooked mind person, he went nearby the Socrates, and he said that, teacher, I want to tell one truth today. So this is very important truth. So that's how the Socrates student said crooked minded student said to the Socrates. And then the Socrates said that, okay, you are free to tell, I'm here to listen. But one thing, whenever I want to listen anything, three things very important. So what are the 3 points? Whatever matter you are telling, there should be benefit that should be giving some benefit to me, or it should give some benefit to you, or else it should give the benefit to the third person. So these are the 3 points he said. It should be benefitful for me or to you or the third person. If that is the case, then you can tell me. So that's how Socrates said. And this crooked-minded student started to think. So is it benefit for the Socrates? No, it is not benefit for the Socrates, because Socrates will be disturbed by listening this matter. And is it benefit for the any third person? No, Plato will get the difficulty. So that's why if I say that maybe my teacher will be firing out, so he will be sending me out. That's how he thought. And is it benefit for me? No, it's not benefit for me, because I will be not getting any benefit. Only my jealous will be coming up. So moral of the example is that whenever we want to be with the people, we need to know about the conversation, whether conversation is useful for us, or conversation is useful for the other people, or conversation is useful for the other person who is standing and doing the conversation with you. That's very important. That's why yukta vihara, the proper surrounding, is very important. Always if we be with the negative people, our mind also will become negative. So that's why we have to try to be with the positive people. That is also considered as a yoga. And the fourth point is yukta swapna, the sleep. The proper sleep also very important. Most of the time we'll be not having the proper time to sleep. So because of the nowadays the modern working system also creates some problem in our sleep, maybe because night shift we have to work. During that time we'll be not able to sleep. Daytime we have to sleep. There are a lot of difficulties. So these are the systems are created by us. We have to find the some solutions also maybe. So what is sleep? Sleep is that where mind and senses will be getting the separation. When the mind gets the separation from the senses, that is called as sleep. Or when the senses are getting the separation from the mind, then that is called as sleep. So the thing is working during this time. So what happens when we have lot of tamas? There are 3 qualities in human body: sattva, rajas, and tamas. When there are lot of tamas in our body, we get sleep. Tamas is nothing but which creates the tiredness. When the senses are tired, then they want to run away from the mind. When the mind is tired, then the mind wants to run away from the senses. Then there will be the sleep. The sleep will be having the different types of explanation. There are different types of sleeps and all. Some people we have the disturbed sleep, some people we have sounded sleep, some people we have full of dreams in the sleep. There are different types of sleep, but we have to have the sleep in the proper time. According to the Ayurveda as well as yoga, it says that 9:30 to almost all 4 o'clock, that's a good time to sleep. So but what we do most of the time, we work late night and get up later in the morning. So that will create lot of problem in human system. If you look at the Ayurveda, it says that brahmi murte chotaya chintayed atmano hitam. We need to get up early morning so that we'll be able to increase our immunity power. That's what Ayurveda says. So if we get up later in the morning, we'll be losing our immunity. That's how Ayurveda says. If you want to develop your immunity system, you have to get up early morning and do actions. You practice yoga, you practice meditation, you practice pranayama, you study, whatever you want to do, try to do morning time rather than doing in the late night. That's how the Ayurveda says. So sleep 6 to 8 hours, they say. If you are having the sounded sleep, 6 hours is enough. So we need not have the more sleep than 6 hours. So when we have these are the 4 things properly, we don't have any problem. The proper food, the proper action, and proper surroundings, and proper sleep. If we have these are the 4 things, we need not practice any other yoga. Proper sleep itself, it is yoga. Proper communication is called as yoga. Being with the proper people is called as yoga. Doing proper action is called as yoga. Having proper food is called as yoga. Just imagine, I do lot of meditation, I do lot of asana practice, I do lot of pranayamas, but later I have the only bad food and bad action. I trouble people, I create problem in the society, and I have the bad friendship, and I don't have the proper sleep, whatever yoga I practice, there is no use. Just imagine, if you throw the seed on the stone, it will not grow. If you throw the seed on the plowed land, then it will be sprouting. In the same way, we have to prepare ourselves with these are the practices. When we have these are the four things properly, then we don't have the problem. When it comes to the food, most of the time we have to take care of this, because we walk and eat, and while traveling we eat, and we don't have the time to eat. We are all working finally for what? To have the food and to nourish our body, to have the kind of the satisfied life, to do some achievement. This is the main goal maybe. So without having the proper food, these are the things will not happen. That's why Kalidasa says that Sharira Madhyam Kaludharma Sadhanam. For example, you want to be success in your field. For example, you are an engineer, or you are a professor, or you are the businessman, whatever. You want to be successful in your field. First of all, you have to nourish your body properly. All of us, we talk about the health. So if we are not having the proper eating system, if we are not having the proper food system, whatever medicine we take, that will be not helping us. So that's why if we talk about the food, there is the big guidance in the yogic system. Even we have to have the fasting in a day, fasting in a monthly, once or twice in a month. That is also very important. Langanam paramaushadam. The greatest medicine is fasting. That's how Ayurveda says. That's why having proper food, proper action, proper surroundings, and proper sleep is called as the yoga. Apart from that, we have to have the Kriya Yoga. Tapas, Svadhyaya, Ishvara Pranidhanam. Tapas means what? The physically, if we are helping to other people, that is called as physical tapas. The verbally, we are teaching without expecting anything to make the society better, and we are doing the selfless verbal activity. So that is called as verbal tapas. The physical, verbal, and mental tapas. Keeping silence in a day for 15 minutes or 10 minutes, at least 5 minutes, having the mauna means silence, that is called as mental tapas. So this is very important to make our mind, body, and breath stronger. So Swadhyaya, studying about ourselves. We know about the computer, we know about the technology, we know about everything, but we don't know about ourselves. Why we got the birth on this planet? What is the purpose of the human life? And we got the birth, we are educated, and we started our job, and we earn some money, we have family, and we construct house, and our life will end. So is it the purpose of life? We have some other things. So we need to know about our life. As we are putting a lot of effort to understand about the computer, in the same way, we need to try to understand about ourselves. That is called as Svadhyaya, studying about ourselves. Ishvara Pranidhana, surrendering whatever we do to the Supreme Consciousness. Okay, I do my action. Finally, the God takes care. So it might be the Krishna, Allah, Jesus, or whatever. So just we have to surrendering to the our God. So that is called as Ishvara Pranidhana. Most of the time, what happens whenever we are successful, we say that we did this. If we are face failure in our action, then what happens? We say the God does everything. I always give this example. If the operation is success and doctor says I am very experienced person, if the operation is failure and patient died, then doctor says nothing is in our hand, everything God does. So that is the nature of the human mind. If success comes, we did, and if the failure comes, somebody else do. So success and failure we are able to take equally. For that, Ishvara Pranidhana is very important. Doing the tapas physically, verbally, and mentally, and understanding about our life and purpose of the life, and surrendering each and everything to the Supreme Consciousness. This is called as Kriya Yoga. And apart from this, we have to have some prayers. It is called as mantra chanting. So mantra chanting, whenever I say mantra chanting, it is nothing to do only Vedas. So in the Islam, they do the Nawaj. In Hinduism, we practice the kind of the various mantra chanting. In the Christianity, they do the prayer, and in the Buddhism, they do their own prayer. This all comes under the mantra. So whenever I'm using the word mantra, it means not only for the Vedic mantra, but let me explain how it helps on our mind, how it helps us to control our mind, how it rejuvenates our system. So what is the mantra? Mantra means what? Mananat trayate iti mantraha. So mananat trayate iti mantraha. The sentence or letter or the word which protects our mind, that is called as mantra. This is nothing but kind of the meditation. So the letter, word or sentence which protects or which purifies our mind, that is called as mantra. Just imagine every day we are taking the shower. So still in the summertime, if you take shower once, still there will be a lot of sweat and you feel you're uncomfortable. You want to take shower one more time. But from the beginning, we are not getting the chance or the opportunity to clean our mind. We don't have any other tool to clean our mind. Mind is always accumulating the dirt. Just imagine you are wearing the white shirt and you are walking in the city market. What happens? Your shirt will naturally become dirty. So in the same way, as we be in the society, our mind will become negative. It will become dirty. So by chanting the mantra, by doing the prayer, you'll be able to purify your mind. So that's why always we have to have this practice. That's very important. So chanting mantra is not only just the prayer. So we are not doing this to please the God. God is always pleased. So we are trying to purify our mind. We are trying to make our mind sattvic, means pure. For that reason, we are practicing the mantra chanting. So one more benefit, the chanting mantra is nothing but meditation. Chanting mantra is nothing but pranayama. Because just let me give the small example. Whenever you are speaking, so you are utilizing your breath to speak. So the breath is the sound is the modification of human breath. So when you are speaking, you are utilizing your breath. After exhalation, if you are trying to speak, you are not able to speak because there is no breath to get the modification. As you are doing the prayer or as you are chanting the mantras, naturally your breath will be controlled, your breath will be channelized. Because of this, your breath will become very strong. When the breath is becoming very stronger, naturally your mind also becomes very strong, because as I told previously, the mind is connected to the breath. So when the glass is not having the fluctuation, the water also will not get the fluctuation. That's why we need to practice these kind of practices. So let me explain the practical aspect. Let me summarize. The proper food is called as yoga. The proper action is called as yoga. Being with the proper people, having the proper surrounding and the conversation, that is called as yoga. Having proper sleep is called as yoga. Doing the selfless service through the body, doing the selfless service with the verbal activities, and having the silence, not thinking negative about the people. All this comes under the tapas. Swadhyaya means understanding about our life, understanding about the reason behind the our life, purpose of our life, that is called as Swadhyaya. Ishvara Pranidhana is surrendering to the supreme consciousness. These are the things are considered as the real yoga we need to practice. Along with that, we can have our own traditional practices like a chanting, doing prayer, all these things. So along with that, we need to practice some asanas like a Surya Namaskara. So every morning, maybe if we get half an hour time, we'll be able to do all these things. Get up early morning, maybe at least 5:30. So when you get up morning, after completing your daily routines, you can start yoga practice. So there just you can practice 5 or 10 Surya Namaskaras. Surya Namaskara we are not trying to do to please the sun god. Just please remember that most of the time we think that Surya Namaskara is considered as a sun salutation. We are doing this to please the sun. You do Surya Namaskara or you don't do, Sun is always giving light. He does his duty. He is not waiting for your namaskaras. He is not waiting for your salutation. So we are doing the Surya Namaskara to purify our nadis, to purify our system. As when you are doing the Surya Namaskara, this is not one asana. This is the combination of different asanas. When you are doing the asana, there are the proper breathing system which you have to follow. There is the proper citation where you have to cite, where you have to gauge. That is explained. So when your gauging point is proper, when you are breathing properly, along with that, when you are practicing the Surya Namaskara, it purifies your nerves, it purifies your breath system, it purifies your mind. So 10 to 15 minutes, if you practice the Surya Namaskara, maybe 5 to 10 Surya Namaskara you practice, you will be able to make your body stronger. You don't know the intense pranayama, just imagine. You sit with the Padmasana or the comfortable posture on the floor, and just you observe your breath. So just imagine 16 to 17 times we are breathing per minute. So just we have to observe that breath. That is also called as pranayama. So consciously, without having the consciousness, without giving the awareness, we are breathing. Naturally, it's happening. So if you concentrate on your breath, you're observing your breath for 10 minutes. That is considered as a pranayama. You need not squeeze your nose and you're breathing from here and trying to hold the breath for a long time. These are things you need not do initially. You need a lot of guidance for this. So just observe your breath, and later close your eyes and just recite the any mantras which you like in your mind. Just you recite the prayer whatever you like in your mind. So these are the things will help you a lot. Just 20 minutes maybe per day, if you utilize your time, you will be able to rejuvenate your mind, and you will be able to rejuvenate your breath. You are able to rejuvenate your body. So when these are the things are having the balance, when these are the things are having the equilibrium, we don't have any problem. Nowadays, even 6-year-old the child or the school students also talking about the depression. They are talking about the tension. Why? Because there is the unorganized lifestyle that creates a lot of problem. That's why we have to have the organized lifestyle. That's very important. Not only asana will not help. So sir, I practice asana for 2 hours, some people they say, but still they have a lot of problem. Why? Because they don't have the proper daily routine. Always I say that don't practice yoga, live yogically. Don't try to practice spirituality, live spiritually. You speak, whenever you are speaking, you try to be spiritual. Whenever you walk, try to be spiritual. When you are working, try to be spiritual. That's very important. When you say that only 10 minutes I practice yoga, 10 minutes I practice spirituality, that will not help. So the eating, that should be yogically, we have to eat. Sleeping, we have to sleep yogically. We have to speak yogically. We have to do the action yogically. Then we don't have any problem. So being aware with all our actions and avoiding the selfishness, that is considered as the main yoga. It will help us to rejuvenate entire human system. By telling this, let me conclude my session. Now it is 3:49. Now, if anybody has any questions, you can ask.
Vigneshwar sir,
Yes.
as a teacher, what practice I can do in a class for making my student aware of yoga, sir? Any simple, some
Uh,
practice?
Actually, the in the class it might be quite difficult to uh, make the student practice yoga. One thing I can suggest here, we can understand the nature of the student by using the yogic techniques, and we can suggest the students how they can increase their concentration, how they can make their studies even more better. So normally students are having the different nature. So when we are observing the students, most of the time you can see whenever you are taking the class, students will be doing their own work. For example, students will be writing something on the desk, or student will be banging with their keychain, or with the pen. They are playing with that. Or sometimes what students do, they don't know, unknowingly they will open the last page and they will be writing something. Always I say that if you want to understand the nature of the student, you try to see the student where the student is sitting, and you can see the rough book of the student, especially the last page. You'll be able to understand the nature of the student. Most of the time, purposefully they are not doing, they are getting the distraction. So how they are getting the distraction, what is the reason? So mainly they are having the kind of the difficulty to understand the subject. They don't have the interest to learn the subject, maybe that is one reason. And the second reason, their mind is engaged with the different things, so they are thinking about the last class or first class, or these are the things. They are thinking about the future class, next class, what will be happen, or the last class, what happened. These are the things they will be thinking. So what we can do when we start the class, first 5 minutes or just 1 or 2 minutes, even I do that, because students will be doing their own actions. They controlling the class, maybe will be having the difficulty. If you go to the fourth hour, fifth hour, when during the lunch time or the after the lunch time, when you go, students will be doing their own work, because morning 3-4 hours they have taken, and they will be not having the interest. So first, if you want to take the control, and if you want to make them concentrated, then just what you can do, first you can suggest them to have the mauna silence for 1 minute, so that entire class has the silence. And when the silence is maintained, they are having some communication. That communication has been stopped, they cannot continue that, because 1 minute time will be disconnect all the connections which happened previously. So that's why what you can do later, when you start the class, you'll be able to take the control of the class, and they will be not again start the communication with the other people. So these are the simple techniques we'll be able to have. And even if they have more fluctuations and distraction, then we need to do the counseling part, that whether they have the disturbed sleep, whether they have the problem with the having the proper food, all these aspects we need to know. By this we'll be able to guide the students. When it comes to the yoga, generally we'll be not able to generalize the yoga. We have to see case by case. That's how we'll be able to help. So usually we can help the student by suggesting the silence. That will help.
Yeah, thank you, Vignesh sir.
Sir, one question from my side.
Yes, sir.
Sir, how we can suggest this yoga to our just age of 10 to 15-year-old child?
Actually, 10 to 15 old, the Chanakya says that lalayet panchavarshani dashavarshani tadayet praptetu shodashe varshe putram mitra vadacharet. So within 10 years, they don't need any yoga actually. Their the practice, what they do, that is, if we let the students or the child to be free, that is yoga for them. For example, when we are restricting the students a lot, then we have to suggest the yoga. So that's how the even the other Hatha Yoga Pradipika and all say they play, and their mind is very relaxed, and they don't talk about the any other people. When the negativity comes, then we have to talk about the all these things. Their life itself, that is yoga, because they don't know how to. They don't have any kind of negative things. So almost all up to 6 years this problem will be not there. 6 to 10, slowly when they be with the society, slowly they will learn some negative things maybe. For that, what we can do, at least we can make them sit in one posture for 10 to 15 minutes. They can chant something, they can read something every down and dusk time, morning and evening time. That will be helping a lot. That is one thing. And especially we need to give the good samskaras. That is also kind of the yoga for them, because yoga is alabdha labha yoga. What they don't have, if you are giving to them, that is called as yoga. So telling the, instead of giving the mobile phone, instead of making them watch the television or the computer, we have to sit with them and we have to tell some stories. This is also kind of the yoga for them. Along with that, some surya namaskara they can do, maybe one or two surya namaskara, not much. Pranayama is just observing the breath, that is also enough. And reciting some stotras, mantras, chantings, that is enough actually. Up to 10 year, it's enough. They don't have any problem.
Okay, thank you, sir.
If there are any more questions, you can ask.
Any more questions from the participants? Yeah. So thank you, Ignatius sir. Thanks for spending your busy schedule with us, giving us an insight of yoga and how it will be helpful.
Thank you very much for the wonderful opportunity. I hope it was useful. Thank you very much. Namaste.
So thank you all. So tomorrow we'll have the session 13. After that, test will be there. Session 13 and 14 and test will be there tomorrow. Okay. Thank you all.